After 8 years, the 40,000-mile Triumph Street Triple R has moved into a new home. The pandemic didn't help, but even before the world stopped, the annual mileage on a naked featherweight bike was frankly depressing. In theory, Triumph fits perfectly into a 3-bike garage with its unique selling points of lightness and a unique, raucous engine. If a Suzuki V-Strom 650 or Yamaha T-Max 530-2012 starts to feel too reasonable, I can take Triumph out for a spin and satisfy that thirst in no time. The problem is that a residential street in Northampton, England is the opposite of smooth continental asphalt. Even with the suspension fully adjusted and serviced regularly, the Triumph makes for a very bumpy ride, and I end up wishing I'd picked up a V-Strom lock instead. And while heading further in search of smoother asphalt is often rewarded with an unforgettable driving experience, there's no escaping the fact that actually reaching the long road is never fun. The last time a friend and took street triples to the Swiss Alps, we both agreed that, while adventure bikes would provide little pure entertainment value to raucous sporty triples, they would pay off that debt 100-fold in comfort, convenience and much better luggage capacity. What ultimately cemented the decision to let go of much-loved Triumph was its first post-lockdown ride of the spring. The engine? Excellent. The brakes? Fantastic. Very light and minimalist, with nothing wasted or leftovers. In a world of electronic riding aids and throttle ride-by-wire, you'll never see another bike like it. But not collectors. Every bike that owns has to justify its annual bill, and can't afford to store a bike for just a few short trips a year. A practical biker, and bikes need to be at least a little practical or they will get dusty. It also didn't help that the replacement was already parked in the garage. Regular readers will remember trying Kawasaki's recently updated and rebranded Ninja 1000 SX last summer. A couple were considering one as a more modern, more practical, and more comfortable replacement for the long-serving 2002 Honda Fireblade 954, and opinions were sought. Turns out, I like the look of the superbike, but the ergonomics are much more upright, with a wide, comfortable seat and all the modern amenities one could want. The large tank, adjustable windshield, and large lockable panniers meant it could also double as a touring mount, an area where its Fireblade definitely compromised. The Ninja has more than enough power to satisfy on the road, but tuned to produce endless grunts that can be traced right from rest with all the smoothness of the inline-4 balanced. After driving it, it was suggested that he buy it. Has tested a number of different bikes over the past few years, many of which have been tipped as speculative replacements for the trusty V-Strom in anticipation of it eventually succumbing to its increasingly long range. However, despite its many impressive facets, it's the experience of riding a bright green Ninja that stuck with me. So, with the V-Strom showing no sign of slowing down and recently tackling some really tough off-road work as part of a 700-plus-mile weekend in Wales, starting to persuade myself to buy a very different kind of motorcycle. Life is short, and if you bought only the bikes you needed, everyone would be riding around in a very capable Honda CB500Xs. Anything beyond that is excess, frivolity, and is never really justifiable, only desirable. I can try, of course. The Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX with a 140 bhp engine has almost the same power-to-weight ratio as the 675cc Street Triple, said. The riding position is nearly identical, but with significantly improved weather protection, a hard boot that locks as standard, and even cruise control for 500-mile long days on French autoroutes. It makes sense to replace Triumph with Kawasaki, to upgrade to something better or equal in every way. But really, none of that matters. Mostly, just really want it. So buy one. Or rather, buy two. Some tough haggling sessions and a very resigned-looking sales manager then partners and takes delivery of a pair of new 2020 model Ninja 1000 SX in Performance Tourer. Trim its taller touring screen, color and lock-coated trunk and liner, some crash covers soundproofing, matching seat covers, and Akrapovic silencers. Bid hard on leftover stock, which turned out to be a smarter move than previously thought. Later found that the 2021 stock was delayed, potentially until very late in the year thanks to a combination of Brexit, COVID, and Ever Given, and the cargo was being held, effectively for ransom, by the Egyptian port authorities. We probably only have two Ninja 21 plates in the UK at the moment, so what's it like to live with the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX? No matter how experienced you are in reviewing new motorcycles, you still have limited time with the machine. Things that seem fine for a few hours or days can become scarred and bothersome for hundreds or thousands of miles. And one thing no one with new bike ownership ever talks about is the break-in period. The tortuous 600 miles where it's forced to ride below 4,000 RPM while the very thin break-in oil finishes honing the cylinder bores.